Welcome back to High Stakes. Today, we will be discussing the following NCAAF matches that is happening on Saturday, October 21st, 2023. We will be providing our team, total, and prop picks for the day. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. If you want access to our premium picks, you can check out our Patreon page. You can find the link to our Patreon page in the description and comment section below. Clemson versus Miami, Florida. While their history may not be extensive, these two teams have engaged in a competitive series of games over the years, with Clemson maintaining a 7-6 advantage after winning the last 4 matchups. In the current season, neither side has managed to meet the expectations fully, although there have been moments when their potential has shown through. In the previous season, the Tigers convincingly defeated the Hurricanes with a score of 40-10. Both offenses have experienced some changes in key positions, and although they have faced some challenges along the way, they have both posted strong offensive performances this season. Nevertheless, Clemson was considered a top 10 team entering this season for a reason, and that reason is still evident in their roster's talent. Miami is likely to struggle with Clemson's diverse array of looks and personnel, which will likely be the key to winning this game, even though it is expected to be much closer than the previous season. The outcome, however, remains in favor of Clemson. Consider taking the Tigers with the points. Both teams exhibit resolute defenses when it comes to stopping the run. They boast sizable and athletic defensive fronts that create formidable obstacles for opposing ground games. Additionally, both teams feature robust offensive lines, setting the stage for an intriguing trench battle that may ultimately need to be decided through the air. If this indeed becomes the prevailing scenario, the advantage should tilt in favor of the Tigers. The return of Williams is a significant boon, adding yet another threat that Miami will need to prioritize defending against. Should Clemson manage to establish their passing game, they are likely to find the end zone more frequently than they have in recent games. In their last meeting, these two teams combined for a total of 50 points, with the Tigers contributing 40 of them. Clemson has consistently scored at least 38 points in their past 4 encounters with Miami, and they are expected to shoulder the majority of the scoring once again in this matchup. Consider taking the over. Next we have Utah versus Southern California, USC. This matchup is exceptionally intriguing due to the way each team's strengths align with those of their opponents, while their weaknesses also seem to match up. Ultimately, the odds makers have given USC a touchdown advantage in this situation. My choice is to take the points with Utah on Saturday. It's worth noting that Kyle Whittingham is arguably one of the most underrated coaches in all of college football. His teams tend not to suffer blowout losses, regardless of the personnel on the field. Expect him to devise an offensive strategy that keeps this game competitive. He has successfully achieved this in the past, as demonstrated by the Utes' 4-2 record in their last 6 matchups against the Trojans. Consider taking the Utes with a plus 7-point spread. USC has been a consistent producer of high-scoring games this year, with a record of 6-1 favoring the over. This outcome is hardly surprising when you have a Heisman-worthy quarterback while simultaneously displaying a reluctance to prioritize defensive efforts. Such a combination typically leads to games with abundant points. However, in this particular scenario against Utah's robust defense, we are presented with a favorable over-under total of just 53.5 points. Given these circumstances, I find it compelling to bet on the over in this matchup. It wouldn't be shocking if USC manages to put up a significant point total, possibly even reaching the 40-point mark in this game. Caleb Williams is undeniably a star player, and he is expected to compile impressive statistics and deliver multiple touchdown passes. Even in their recent loss, USC's offense managed to tally 20 points in a challenging environment. On the flip side, the Trojans' defensive performance has been far from stellar, allowing an average of 30.0 points per game, ranking them 90th in the overall football standings. Anticipate Utah adopting a power running game approach that should enable them to move the ball efficiently on the ground. This, in turn, will likely open up opportunities in the passing game for Bryson Barnes to complete some straightforward passes. Consequently, I'm inclined to take the over in this game set to unfold in Los Angeles on Saturday. Consider taking the over. Next we have Georgia State versus Louisiana. A quick analysis of the recent defensive performances by both teams clearly indicates that the current point spread doesn't align with the statistics. Over their last 5 games, the Panthers have allowed an average of just 21.6 points, while the Ragin' Cajuns have been surrendering an average of 34.3 points in their last 3 games. Furthermore, the transition to Zeon Chriss as the starting quarterback, following Ben Wooldridge's foot injury, has revealed Chris's willingness to throw the ball into tight windows, even though it has resulted in interceptions. Given these observations, the point spread appears inconsistent with the team's recent performance. It seems like a sensible choice to opt for the better team, one that has a history of covering the spread more frequently, especially when they are receiving points. Consider taking Georgia State with a plus 3.5 point spread. This number opened at 59 total points, and this 3.5 point bump feels like way too much in a short amount of time. Both teams love to run the football, and that is going to keep the clock churning to the point where it is difficult to expect many plays and put points on the board. Neither offensive line allows much pressure to force mistakes, which are going to be needed to reach this number, as the Panthers have allowed 6 sacks while the Ragin' Cajuns have given up 9. All in all, go with under 63.5 points in this game. Next we have Nevada versus San Diego State. San Diego State boasts better overall health, and there's a clear explanation for why the Nevada Wolfpack has struggled significantly. Brendan Lewis, with only 2 touchdown passes to his name, poses a challenge when it comes to trustworthiness in the red zone for point production. It's worth considering how many points the Spartans need to score in order to cover this spread. The target isn't significantly different from the spread as listed, and considering San Diego State's recent victory, they should be well positioned to build on that momentum and cover the substantial spread against the weakest team in the Mountain West Conference. Consider taking San Diego State with a minus 13.5 point spread. Looking at the previous 5 games, these offenses have been absolutely dreadful, as Nevada is scoring 18 points per game while San Diego State is averaging 20.2 points per game. Both Lewis and Maiden are struggling to throw the football accurately, and sustaining drives feels like a lot to ask from these offenses. The under has hit in 7 of the previous 11 Wolfpack games, so go with under 47.5 points in this game. Take the under. Next we have Arizona State versus Washington. Washington is coming off a significant victory, having triumphed over Oregon in their most recent game. Penix has been performing exceptionally well as one of the top quarterbacks, leading to the expectation of an easy win for the Huskies. However, there is a potential pitfall in this game, stemming from the emotional highs and lows experienced in the Oregon game. This could lead to a lack of focus. While I believe Washington will secure the win, I anticipate that Arizona State will manage to cover the spread. It's important to note that the Huskies' defense tends to allow a substantial number of passing yards, which aligns with Arizona State's primary offensive focus. Although Arizona State's record may not be impressive, their defense is stronger than the average team, with their struggles mainly attributed to their offense's inability to score. Given the notably high spread in this game, I'm inclined to pick the visitors to either cover the spread or at least push it, extending their streak to 4 consecutive games. Consider selecting Arizona State to cover. This is going to be a game where Washington will try to limit as many possessions as possible for Arizona State to even think about an upset. The under has been hitting for both teams this season, and I think with the Sun Devils' improved defense. ASU has gone under in 2 straight and 5 of their last 6 games. Washington had some issues against Oregon's offense, but this is not Oregon. This has a shot of being a low-scoring contest. Take the over on Saturday. Next we have UCLA versus Stanford. This game sets up as a potential trap for Stanford. Following their remarkable come-from-behind victory against Colorado, many anticipate that the team will ride the momentum and potentially cover or even beat UCLA outright. However, I hold a different perspective. Stanford displayed a lackluster performance in the first half against Colorado, and earlier in the season, they suffered a loss to FCS Sacramento State on their home turf. Additionally, in their 3 home games, they have only managed to cover the spread once. Conversely, UCLA has recently endured a challenging schedule, facing 3 consecutive ranked opponents. Despite their struggles against Oregon State's formidable defense, the Bruins are not as weak as their performance may suggest. Stanford is expected to allow substantial passing yards throughout the game, and this could lead to a decisive victory for the Bruins as they ease back into their Pac-12 campaign. Consider taking UCLA to cover the spread. The under appears to be the favorable choice for this game due to UCLA's vulnerability to being sacked and committing turnovers, which is likely to occur multiple times against Stanford. The Bruins have registered under outcomes in 4 of their last 6 games and have a streak of 2 consecutive under results when facing Stanford. Additionally, the Cardinal face challenges in scoring when playing on their home turf. The under has prevailed in all 3 of their home games this season. Furthermore, their average points per game stands at a mere 24, falling short of the threshold required for the over to hit on Saturday. Opt for the under for this Saturday's game. We appreciate your viewership. Remember to hit the subscribe button for our channel and activate the notification bell to stay updated with our daily selections.